Looks a little blurry. There we go. All right. We are all the way live. Come and take my seat. The way live, Facebook fam. No, you don't have to check. I'm just making sure we're on. I can't bet we're on. We are all the way live. I'm trying to just make sure that our screen is right.
Yep, we're good.
I'm gonna wait for a few minutes. Few more of you all to come in.
Hi everybody, how was your Wednesday? Your wonderful Wednesday. I hope you had a good day. I did. I went swimming. It was fun.
You went swimming?
Mm-hmm.
Who'd you go swimming with?
Dream Builders Summer Camp.
Dream Builders Empowerment Summer Camp. I'm just making sure our setup is pretty good. I apologize again. We apologize again if you hear any excess noise. We are in Kaylin's favorite place, which is outside. We are recording live from outside. All right. Just trying to give people time to come on. I'm going to try not to move around too much. There we go. All right. You ready to get started?
Mm-hmm.
Sure?
Uh-huh.
All right. Good evening, Facebook fam. Thank you all so very much for tuning in, for joining us on today. As myself, my name, again, as you know, most of you know me, Priscilla. And I am coming live on tonight. We're just dealing tonight with Alzheimer's. We wanted to do a special session. I've had so many people to reach out to me in regards to caregiving and just what it is we do. Many of you know I share my mama moments. That's what I've coined them to be, mama moments. I've been caring for my mom now probably about 2 years, off and on, 2 years. Before we made the decision to move over here with her, I would actually pick her up, bring her to my house. She was on that level, could not stay by herself anymore. So I would pick her up after work, drive her out to my house. She would spend the night and then come back the very next day. And we did that for almost a year until it got to be just a little bit too much. And so then we made the decision to move over here in her house because it was familiar, because she would get up in the mornings and it would be time to get up and go to work, and she no longer wanted to get up. She wanted to stay home. And because she wasn't familiar with my house, then that became an issue. So in our efforts to help her, we decided to move over here because she's familiar with her house. So that's why we're here. And then I have Kaylin.
Hi.
My baby girl. I call her the younger one. Also with Kaylin's Caring Connection. Mm-hmm. She does motivational moments with Kaylin on Monday nights, Sundays and Mondays. So have baby girl here. And the reason why we wanted to do this on tonight and just bring Kaylin on, because so many times we look at caregiving and we look at it from the perspective of the adults, and not really too many people talk about the children who are also in the thick of it. And one of the reasons why this became dear to my heart as well, I often, in order to build my knowledge regarding caregiving and with those with dementia, I look at various YouTube videos and what have you. And I ran into one at one point where there was a 15-year-old girl whose mom had been diagnosed with dementia. with Alzheimer's. And I looked at that and realized, like, whoa, you know, so often we focus on the adults and we never talk about the children who are also in it, who have their own various dealings with it. And so, and I want to put this disclaimer in, and I apologize, it's a little warm out here, but I want to put this disclaimer in as well. Just because we're dealing with Alzheimer's, we don't take for granted, and Alzheimer's and dementia, we don't take for granted that there are other caregivers, other persons who provide care for people with other various ailments and diseases and what have you. So we don't take that for granted at all. Caregiving is not something that can be taken lightly. It's not something that is an easy task. By no means is it easy, and most especially when you deal with someone with dementia. No day, I tell people all the time, no day is the same. Am I right, Kaylin?
Mm-hmm.
No day is the same. You may come home today and everything's great. You may come home, and I wouldn't even say the next day. In the same day, it can be good, and then it can turn bad. And so we go back and forth. It just depends on what type of mood they're in. And so it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of heart. It takes a lot of all of that to be able to really care for someone who has dementia and Alzheimer's. So that's why we wanted to come on and come from this perspective. I'm going to say as well, if you have any questions, any concerns, you know, I've had people to reach out to me on here on Facebook that, you know, are dealing with the same thing, who has questions. They want to know, well, how do you do it, or what have you? And I have to honestly say that it is simply the grace of God, really. I mean, if it were not for my faith and the grace of God that He gives me every day, I really don't know. Because, and as some of you may know, I now also not only have my mom, but I have my grandmother, who I had to move up here in April. Kind of happened kind of suddenly because of circumstances, but moved her up here in April, and she too deals with dementia. And so there's two of them in the house. And so, no, by no means easy task. But again, if you have any questions, you have any concerns, before we get out of here, we are going to pray as well, because that is what it takes as well to be able to do this, is to be able to pray and to really ask God for that strength. Ask God for the help each day. I mean, and I'm going to shut up a little bit and let Kaylin talk, just, you know, conversing. So if you have any friends who is dealing with this, that have children, tell them to get on. We're not going to be in here too long. We'll be on here long enough, but not too long. So if you have any friends who are dealing with it, tell them to tune in. And let's ask questions. I have a special guest as well that'll be coming in shortly. That will be joining us as well. So just going to give way for Kaylin to just kind of tell us a little bit, Kaylin, how you know, your granny, and, you know, how do you look at dementia? I mean, you've had about 2 years now, but we've kind of grown a little bit more. It's actually advanced a little bit more. So tell us a little bit about how you deal with it.
Well, I try to stay positive and not try to think about the bad things that are going to happen, and try to make sure that I can help too.
Yeah. And Kaylin is a great help with this. So many children don't really understand it. They don't really get it, but Kaylin is and she can normally tell. I hate it like that sometimes, but she can normally tell when I get a little bit frustrated, because there are days, for example, Saturday. Got up Saturday morning. Some of y'all saw my post on Saturday morning. It was a great morning. Got up. I had been asking for a few days, few weeks, month or so, asking Miss Vera, let me wash your hair, Miss Vera, and every day, no, I do it myself, because they're used to what they do. And so when you ask them to do things that they think that they've already done, sometimes it can be a little difficult. So Saturday, there it was. I got up and asked her. She was up when I got up, so I asked her, you know, can I wash your hair? Let me wash your hair. And she let me wash her hair. She was looking beautiful. I took pictures. I'm glad I took pictures. I was able to post them online, and then by that afternoon, I looked and she's put a ponytail in. And it's like, what in the world, you know? But with that, you know, further on throughout the day, because I was winning, and I still won. Don't get me wrong, I still won. We went out a little bit later in the afternoon, and I took her and my grandmother out to get them out the house. And when we got back, and this is how fast it can go for you, we went out, we came back. She didn't recognize the street when we drove down the street. And then when we got to the house, she didn't recognize the house. And then when we got home, she didn't want to come in the house. She literally refused to come in the house because she said this wasn't her house. And we had only been gone maybe an hour, hour and a half. And so when I'm trying to explain to her that, yes, this is your house, she then becomes, you know, very, no, this is not my house. And then she proceeded to call me, you know, you just crazy. And I mean, all of those things. And all of that can happen in a matter of moments. And so you have to have tough skin. Hello, Asia, Olivia.
Hi, Miss
Thank y'all for tuning in. Aisha, I'm sorry. But all of that can happen in a drop of a hat. And so you got to have tough skin. Am I right, Kaylin?
Mm-hmm.
Give them some of your examples.
Well.
What was your most challenging moment? How old are you?
About to be 13.
She's about to be 13. I only did that because we just talked about that, and she'll be 13 in a month and a day. Okay, so she's super excited. She's about to become a teenager, y'all. But, you know, when you deal with your granny, what's some of the things that you've been able to experience, and how do you deal with them?
Well, I've experienced
Look at the people.
I've experienced her not wanting me to help her when she has the wrong clothes on. And when I tell her that she lives here, even though I know sometimes when I say that can get annoying to myself and to her. So probably when I try to help her put her clothes on, she won't let me.
Yeah. And that's something that we deal with quite often. And sometimes I post because what I don't want people to think is that every moment in dealing with this is a funny moment, because every moment is not a funny moment. You know, there are times when she can be downright mean, and there have been times when she's faulty, you know. And that's the type of stuff that you don't want the 12-year-olds and, you know, other children to see, because, you know, me, I don't like violence under any circumstances. But then for you to understand that they really have no understanding, no knowledge really of what they're doing. But we've had that where, you know, when she puts on clothes, everything goes on backwards, you know, and it can be extremely disheartening sometimes, because as much as you want to, Kaylin tries the same way, as much as you want to help them, you know, they don't want you to, because they think that they can do it. And so we had one instance recently. How did she come out of the bathroom?
She had her panties on as a bra and 2 bras on as panties.
Yeah. And I'm only sharing this, hopefully that didn't offend anybody, but this is how it goes. You know, I mean, it can be something that simple, and then when you go to help, and so you have to learn. That's why I tell people all the time, and I try my best to do it all the time, educate yourself about it. Unfortunately, not too many people talk about Alzheimer's and dementia, and a lot of people looked at Alzheimer's and dementia as something that you get when you're old. And it's not just old people that get it. Unfortunately, I believe for us, it is something that is genetic for our family. And even when people ask me, I got the opportunity to watch my mom, because my grandmother, my mom's mom also had dementia. And so when she came to live with us, my mom brought it down to Lake Wells to live with us, and she lived with us for about 2 or 3 years. And so I got the opportunity to watch my mom care for her. And she did it with all due diligence. I mean, until she just could not do it anymore. And so that is where my heart and my passion, and I believe, because that's my mom, you know, that is my mom. And I simply look at it as the sacrifice. They made so many sacrifices for us growing up, and you just kind of never know what life is gonna throw at you. And so it was easy for me. But not only does my mom deal with this, and that's why I say genetically, I have an aunt. Actually, I have 2 aunts, both of her sister. I have an uncle who, he's in denial, but he too deals with it. And so it kind of runs in our family. But we're gonna stop this as much as we can. I'm looking at and researching different things, the different effects, and trying my best to make sure, because I have 2 girls. And I don't want them to have to deal with this. You know, if you look at the studies, and I would recommend anybody who deals with this, if you're caring for someone, excellent resource. If you go to alz.org, that's ALZ.org, so much, a plethora of information that you can look at. They actually have training classes that you can take that deal with caregiving and how to deal with them. A lot of that stuff I'm having to learn even the more, because as the stage advances, you deal with different things. And by all means, we are praying that God will heal. And so that's why I call it, you know, our journey towards healing. In the meantime, we deal with those things, but if you go on there, you can get the different facts. And when you look at it, and I put some of it on my post when I did this, but when you look at the statistics, and I do have my computer open, so if you're looking at me, look down, that's what it is. But even with the statistics say that every 65 seconds, there is someone in the United States, y'all pardon me, that's my grandma. Grandma got up to come outside, so, or to the door. So that's, Kaylin just got up to that. But every 65 seconds, someone in the United States develops this disease. That's every minute in 5 seconds, somebody develops this. There are 5.7 million Americans that are living with it now. And they're predicting that by 2050, 14 million people will deal with it. That's a whole lot. And when you look at the caregivers that have to deal with it, because, you know, somebody has to take care of them. For me, no pun intended to anybody that's in the healthcare profession, but I've just seen and heard a whole lot of things that hasn't made me comfortable with wanting to go that route at this particular time. Not saying that I won't have to at a different time, but at this particular time, just not wanting to do it. But, you know, caregivers, 18.4 billion hours of caregivers' time that's been, you know, 18.4 billion hours, people that are caring for their loved ones. $232 billion is what it's averaged at. So that's a lot. That is a whole lot. And so we want to look at not just those that are caring, the adults, but the children. Come on back. The children that have to be in there with them. What are some of the, as Kaylin comes back, some of the emotions that you deal with, Kaylin? What was your most, you know, what was that one thing that made you say, man, I don't like this?
When she yells and sometimes fights.
Not you.
I'm talking about at you.
Oh, okay. yeah, no child wants to see their parent, being treated that way. But she also understands that she can't help it. And that's what you have to keep. I'm telling you, patience is a must. Patience is a must in this, because she'll ask the same thing how many times?
Thousand, billion, all
Kaylin
that.
says thousands and billions, and that's the part of it, because they don't know.
They don't.
They don't know. And so when it comes down to go get me something to drink, what does she normally grab?
A bowl.
A bowl.
A bowl full of water,
A bowl.
or full of whatever drink is in the fridge.
Yeah. Because she doesn't recognize that cups are not cups and bowls are not bowls.
They're the same.
Yeah. And I appreciate, and I tried to get Destiny, that's my other daughter. Hey Destiny, if you're watching, she probably sleep because she said she was going home to get some rest. She's been working hard in school, doing an excellent job at school, but tried to get Destiny to come on too, but she didn't want to. But both Destiny and Kaylin, and Destiny, literally, anybody that knows, Destiny is Granny's girl. That's Granny's heart. That is Granny's baby. And so Destiny comes over, Destiny helps out. My girls are like there. And Kaylin, I've been impressed even the more, and been my prayer. And I love it. I love God. I love the God in her, because I don't have to tell her, or ask her rather, to do certain things. She just automatically jumps in there and she helps, and she loves it, and she has no complaints about it, none of that, and you can only appreciate that. Thank you, Decanti, for you all coming on. Thank y'all, those of you that are inviting people. Thank you. I'm looking at the comments. And
Thank you,
talking.
Miss Olivia.
All right, so what do you think is the most difficult task at 12 years old? What's the most difficult task in just being here? Because it's not like you have to do it, but what has been the most challenging, I wouldn't say difficult, challenging part of being in the thick of it?
Staying a child.
What does that mean?
Well, like making sure that I don't do things you do.
Oh, okay. So what she means by that, let me help y'all. Sometimes, I have to be a little stern with my mom, because if you're not stern at points, then she just will do things a certain way. And so I have to remind Kaylin sometimes that she can't say things not say things I say, but how I say them, because she is 12, and unfortunately Kaylin is 12 going to 8th grade, and she's smaller, and so her granny tends to think that she's too little. This little girl shouldn't be telling me what to do, even when she's trying to help her. That little girl can't tell me what to do. And most of the time she'll say her name, but there are times when she doesn't. There's a video that was played, a few people shared it a few weeks ago, with this young man who had taken his mom to a restaurant because she too had dementia, and I'm assuming that it was his, or maybe not, but in this video he takes her to a restaurant and he's asking her who he is. Did I show you that video? We'll have to watch it. But he was asking her who she was, and she couldn't remember who she was at all. And he got back in his truck after that conversation and he bawled because Kaylin's freaking out because there's a bug outside on the thing, but he's freaking out, crying, bawling because his mom didn't recognize who he was. And I remember the very first time that my mom didn't recognize who I was, and it was piercing, like, oh, you didn't remember me, like you didn't remember you don't know who I am, and she actually asked me that day, well, did I birth you? Did you come out? Because most of the time she thinks I'm her sister, and that's kind of how it goes
Because y'all
now.
look alike.
Because we look alike. I look like her sister?
No, I'm saying because you and Granny look
Yeah,
alike.
but that doesn't mean that she think of my sister because we look alike.
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
Well, listen, Kaylin, let me ask you this, or share with some of the other, if there's any young children on here, give them some information, or not information, but give them some encouragement, because basically this is what we want to be able to do with this, be able to encourage people that, one, you're not in this by yourself. You know, you're not in it alone. There is a community of people that also deal with this. So if there are any children that see this, what type of encouragement, motivation can you give them in dealing with their loved ones?
To just hang in there and trust whoever is the main caregiver, like my mom. Trust your parent or the caregiver that's there, because they know what they're doing and they know what's best for whoever the person in your family has dementia. And also, we have to make sure, I do too, I'm still working on that I'm not too helpful.
Yeah, because my baby, she likes to help. And you know, that's just kind of, why do you like to help so much?
I don't know.
It's just that inner, I got to help, I got to assist. I appreciate it. I do. I appreciate it.
Sometimes it's needed.
Sometimes it's needed. It is. Thank you, Marvin. Thank you so much. Yeah. And
I'm Mr. Boatman.
the content, you know, I mean, yeah, it is. It's she says that experiencing this disease is heartbreaking. It is. It will, sometimes it'll break you down. And that's the reality of it, because you are looking at this disease that is literally, I call it rude and disrespectful.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's like it's causing them to act in a way that is beyond. I mean, the mind, and I said, the mind is something. And I think Evangelist Mandrell, I don't know if she's on, but I remember some years ago, even in testimony service, when she used to say, I thank God, you know, that you didn't get up and put your pants on your head or your shirt on your bottoms. And at the time, because I hadn't experienced it, it was kind of comical to me in a way. You know, not laughing at it, but, you know, to think about, somebody really gonna do that. But to be at this point and this stage, and to see that happen often, because, you know, my mom, that day she came out with a shirt on the bottom, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh. And for her, there was no, it was like everything was proper.
She thought it was a skirt.
Yeah.
With pockets.
Yeah. She put it on, put a shirt on the bottom. You know, we've seen various things, and it is a disrespectful disease, because it makes them lose control. We talked about her going to the kitchen to get water. It's not a simple thing anymore. You know, she goes in the kitchen and she gets a bowl, because for her, it's just a container to put water in. What?
Oh, I was just gonna say that also she does put it in not just a bowl, but it could be other things.
Yeah. And it's like, whoa, you know? But you have to have tough skin, because it can go from, oh, you're the best thing that happened to me, I love you so much,
Until
to,
I hate you.
Yeah, you stupid. And you have to have tough skin enough to be able to recognize that it's not them, but it's the disease that's causing them to do that.
I do understand that. Also, like Mom said, there are kids watching. It's good to, if you do get frustrated or something, sometimes, you don't know this, but I go in the back and I count to 10 while taking deep breaths.
Yeah, and
it might help you, because you may be frustrated, or you may not know what is going on or how to respond, but as long as you stay calm, you'll be fine.
Yeah. And that's what you have to do. Sometimes you have to count 1, 2, 3. I'm looking on here. I'm sorry, Olivia, you still on? I'm gonna bring Olivia on in a minute if she's still on here.
Still on, Miss Olivia.
Let me know if you're still on, Liv. We're gonna bring Olivia on, and I'm bringing her on if she's still on here because Olivia has been, oh my gosh, she's been such a help to me. She has volunteered through the Alzheimer's Project, and she may be off. I don't see her commenting, but Olivia volunteered through the Alzheimer's Project, and she has actually cared for. Okay, I see you. I'm gonna try to figure out in a minute how to get you on. But Olivia has. You see us on here? Yeah,
press her name.
She told me press her name. You don't know what you're doing.
I saw it last time.
I know. I saw it last time too. Kaylin gonna figure that out while I keep talking about. Olivia has volunteered through the Alzheimer's Project, and she's had 2 clients that she has provided care for. And Kaylin doesn't really know how to work Facebook, so I'm gonna invite you in, Liv, in just a second. Y'all give me just a few moments. I know there's a way for me to do it. I just.
Anybody know?
There's a way for me to do it. Okay, let me see. Here we go. Hold on, Liv.
So you have to search your name.
No, that's not how you do it. That's to invite people on. See, I gotta. I had Olivia send me an invite to bring you on. Send me an invite, Liv, and I think that should be able to do it.
Wait, it may be on this side.
Let me get out of here. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm messing up my own video. And so.
But yeah, I will
Olivia,
talk some.
Okay, go ahead. Kaylin's gonna talk while I figure this out. Go ahead.
So, some more tips for any more kids who are dealing with this.
You just did. Okay, let me see. Click the green button.
If you are feeling upset, or if you feel mad, like I said, you can count to 10, or nothing that can help. You can just breathe. You can pray to help your own emotions just not get the best of you. And also, if you're trying to help the caregiver, you could help them, because you could tell basically on the daily just what they're doing. Like if they tell you maybe to put the table up for them, or get a napkin for them, or fix them something to drink, and you know they're going to do that in a certain point and a certain day, or not a certain day, just in their daily routine, then you can try to do that yourself, so it'd be easier on them, and it just relieves the stress that they have of doing on their daily life versus their life with the person they're caring for.
I'm trying to find it, Liv. I can't find it. Now, I had it. Every other time I had it, and now it wants to show out. And I'm on my phone. Hold on, let me go to the iPad. That might do it. Hold on one second. Keep talking, Kaylin.
So, also, my journey with them, like I said, when my mom moved over here, I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to be over here. But then it started getting easier, and she was in, like, a smaller stage than she is in now, because she would still be able to, she wasn't really, like, fighting as much and getting short-tempered, and, but she still would put her clothes on different ways and get water with bowls.
There it is. All right, I think I got it.
But it's just easier. And it's easier. Well, what was I trying to say? It's just kind of weird. It was weird when I first came here, just being here and being used to coming here. And
all right, Liv, I added you in. You got to answer it.
Was going to care for her. But as time progressed, it got easier and easier, because we've been here for a year already. And then Grandma Julie came, and it got a little bit worse. Not really. It just, my grandma got used to saying that she had to take her back home with her because she used to go up there to Lake Wells with her. And it got a little bit wonky at times, but I still know that it's not her.
There she is.
It's the disease.
It's like, is it ready to do that?
Yeah.
So yeah. Hi, Miss Olivia.
Well,
I had to
hey.
go back and do it on my iPad.
Ooh,
See, I
y'all
learned
got me
something
looking
else
kind of
tonight.
funny right now.
Is it showing
Can
up?
you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. There you
Can
go.
y'all hear me?
All right. I can hear you.
Well, yes. Hi. Hi,
All right.
Kaylin.
Hi.
Hi,
All right,
Priscilla.
Facebook fam. So this is Olivia. And as I was saying, I brought her on because Olivia has, it's fine. I don't have to see my face. Olivia has cared for 2 different people. And so I wanted to bring her on because there's some things that we're actually working on together. And I wanted her to be able to share too and to just encourage and strengthen some of the other caregivers who may be watching as well. So, Liv, take it away.
All right. I'm just going to give a little background history of my dealings with the Alzheimer's project and with patients that has Alzheimer's. I have been a caregiver for the last 4 years to 2 different clients. And sadly, both of my clients passed away due to Alzheimer's. But I can concur with what Priscilla and Kaylin says. The number one and the main goal that you need to have is to have patience. Patience with the patients. That sounds funny. Patience with the patient or the clients or your family members, whatever you choose to call them. That's the first thing. And the second thing is to get an understanding of the disease and how to deal with the disease because it is very challenging. And when I say very challenging, it goes from 0 to 100 in a matter of minutes. And you just have to really know how to speak, how to handle, and how to deal with your loved one. My clients were not related to me when I first started being a caregiver, but they became my family because I truly love my lovely lady. That's one of the names. And then the other one, I truly love them too. But you have to, when they begin to go on their moods, a good thing that you can do, you have to try to reroute them. For instance, I went through the same thing that Priscilla went through as far as bringing my lovely lady to the house because she, after about 3 years, she moved in with me and she lived with me for almost a year. And that was a trying time trying to get her from her house to my house. She just moved 15 minutes away, but she would always say, "This is not my house, I'm going home." She would walk out the door and start walking up the street. There were times when I had to drive my car and tell her we're going to get some ice cream. And then after we get ice cream, I would take her home. It was just the fact that she know that she was going home. Because we would go to Chick-fil-A, get ice cream, and then 10, 15 minutes later, I bring her back to the house and she would come in. Like before, she wouldn't come in. But after I rerouted her, made her think she was going home, and took her to get something that she liked. That's the key thing too that can help getting them some things that they will like. And once they like it, then you can go from there. But like I said, Priscilla and Kaylin, the patience is what it is and what it takes in order to help you keep yourself calm and also to keep them calm. So that's the first tip of this meeting from me, is having plenty of patience. Yes. Back to you, Priscilla.
All right.
I like this
I'm
Facebook.
actually trying to hear you.
Oh. You having trouble hearing me?
Oh, I can hear. I got like 50 things going. I'm trying to make sure I can hear you and that because my iPad is away from me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you nice and clear.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. Are you done?
I am. I gave my first tip, which is patience. That's the first tip.
All right. Yep. She gave her first tip. So, that's what it is, you all. I'm gonna let Kaylin push you up. Can you know how to do it?
No.
That's all right. Stay on, Liv. So, I didn't mean for this to be extra long on tonight, but I did want to share this side with you. Now, Olivia and I are going to be coming back on periodically because my main goal is to help educate. As I learn, I want to be able to share this information with other people because one thing for sure, not everybody deals with it the same way. Not everybody handles it the same way. I have to, unfortunately for me, life kind of happened like all at the same time. I had a series of things that happened all at the same time. And even with that, there's a lot of it that I haven't been able to kind of process fully because caregiving is what it is. And sometimes it's a good thing because it keeps me that busy. But then on other levels, it's not because as we'll talk about in a different session, and I'm learning, you have to have that time for yourself. You have to have that time where you can decompress. And for me, I haven't had that fully. And so now I've added, life has added another person. And so, I often say that, you know how to take her off?
How?
I
can't remember how to do it.
All right, I'm doing
She
it.
can do it herself.
Yeah,
She said.
What you said, Liv?
I'm gonna get ready to take myself off so they can see you.
She gonna take herself off.
Okay. All right, she gonna take herself off, I guess she said.
Yep, she's off.
All right, so we'll be coming back on and sharing some various tips, but like I said, I wanted to be able to take this from the perspective of the 12-year-old because they too, even when we don't understand it, they too deal with it. And so, you have to have that time. You have to have that energy. I tell people all the time, especially when you're doing it by yourself, when you don't have any extra help. I'm like it can be a whole lot. For me, I look forward to those moments when they both go to bed. Is she still on or did she go off?
She went off. Your
Oh, it just my thing is delayed. Okay. So, I look forward to those moments when I can just go and get in the jacuzzi and just let the water hit my back and just relax. Those are those moments for me. I've done and picked back up on a whole lot of journaling, and that works for me. As much as I can, I try to do something other than this because it goes back to almost like dealing with children. That's in essence what it is. You feel like you have children again because that's how they are. Their mind is like that, and of course they can't help it. That just is what happens in the process of it. So we wanted to come on, be able to share for the very first time. Want to be able to come on and share some of how this goes for us. I'm not really sure what's going on with the video,
but
it's acting up.
Okay.
Sure, say something while I try to fix this. I'm not sure my video is acting funny.
I just want all the kids to know, like Miss Olivia said, be patient. And two, you're going to have a lot of mixed emotions. It's okay to have those emotions. It's okay to feel, because I know some people don't have tough skin. I'm kind of one of those people, because sometimes when my grandma will say something to me, it will kind of knock me off, but then I have to remember that I still have to be okay.
Uh-oh, car's cranking up.
And yeah, I hope all kids know with me that I'm here with y'all. I'm in the same place with y'all. I feel you. I feel all your emotions. I feel what you're going through. We're sorry about the video thing not working, but
I'm not sure what happened to my Facebook Live. I don't know if you all can still see me. I see a little bit of it. Are you all having issues seeing the video?
please let us know.
I don't know what happened. The devil. I don't know what happened, but if you all can still see it, let me know. Somebody let me know.
Please like.
If you can see it, because it's doing some funny stuff.
If you're watching and you're a kid, if you
Can
have
you
any
still see
questions, contact my mother. She'll contact me. I'll contact her again, and she'll tell you.
You see my baby, she has a sense of humor. Can y'all still see the video?
Can you still hear our voices?
I don't know what happened. I'm gonna go off and come back on. Let's see if that works.
I
Yeah.
love
Hold
you
on,
all.
stay right there.
I'm gonna give some more facts about caregiving.